You're going to start seeing people speculating on how they're going to handle launch, how they're going to handle pre-patch, that kind of thing, based on what we're learning in the beta. Now, in the beta update video series, which I'm putting out every Thursday or Friday, depending on what time the beta actually gets updated, I did mention about a specific way of leveling, and everyone seems to be talking about exactly the same thing. And that's Grim Batol. And Grim Batol is giving absolutely amazing amounts of experience. Firstly, no, this isn't just for Blood Death Knights or Brewmaster Monks or Prop Paladins or Prop Warriors or Druids. Like, literally everyone should be able to do this at a reasonable speed to the point where it makes going to MoP before level 90 absolutely pointless. I leveled my monk to 90 in there as Brewmaster. I've been leveling a feral druid in there, an elemental shaman, a ret paladin, and all of them do it in around about the same speed, to be honest with you. In fact, some of the bursty DPS like an Ellie shaman are actually doing it quicker, for me personally, than I was actually as a Brewmaster monk. So a Brewmaster monk was great, you could pull loads and AoE them all down. The Ellie shaman just absolutely destroys through packs. Now, to put this into perspective, you can get from 85 to 90 in, let's say, about 3-4 hours tops. You can nearly get a whole level from 85 to 86 in the first run. So obviously, this isn't going to stay. Now, it's actually very difficult to go and find information about when this was nerfed back in the day, or even if it was ever nerfed back in the day. But let's pretend for a minute it wasn't. Are Blizzard, when Mr. Pandaria launches, going to want everyone just sat in Grim Batol? Because there'll be absolutely no point going anywhere else. Everybody will sit in Grim Batol. And straight away you're either thinking, or you're going to comment below saying, oh yeah, but those people that just rush in dungeons like we did with Botanica back in Wrath of the Lich King, or Halls of Lightning, Halls of Stone in Cataclysm, they're not going to get any of the important reps they need. Well, actually, none of the important reps that you need, if we're talking about purely from a pre-raid bisc gearing standpoint, you can't even get these until, let's say, 89 when you're going to go and start Dread Wastes anyway. So at the very least, if you really was bothered about reputation, get into 89 and then go into Dread Wastes to quest to finish off 89 to 90. And what you got to remember as well, you still can't fly. You will be much faster just sitting in Grim Batol and getting to 90, learning to fly, and then flying around Dread Waste and doing the quests. Because it literally will be quicker to fly around and do the quests and get from 89 to 90 in Grim Batol than it would be riding around on foot in Dread Waste to get the reputation that you need. Now, as I say, there's only two important reputations. That's the Claxi and Golden Lotus. Now, between the two of these, you can get an epic neck and an epic ring. Claxi is the Dread Waste reputation where you'll need to get to Exalted and do the whole quest chain. Golden Lotus, depending on what version of Vow of Eternal Blossoms we get, because actually at the moment we're not 100% sure, we haven't even got access to Vow of Eternal Blossoms. You should absolutely just be able to farm this out in a place called Gulai Halls or surrounding areas and literally grind from neutral all the way to Exalted. So that is very much just getting a group as big as possible and just grind for a few hours and you're Exalted. So in terms of actually gaining reputation while you quest, you're at no disadvantage by sitting in a dungeon to get to 90, because the only one that's important is Dread Waste, and trust me, you want to get flying first anyway because it will speed it up. So as I said, firstly, I do think Blizzard will nerf Grim Batol, but not just Grim Batol, all of the Cataclysm dungeons when you're at level 85, because Lost City of Tolvir is pretty much exactly the same. Yes, it's got less mobs, you'll have to do more resets or potentially even slow it down a little bit so you don't hit the instance cap, but they're still giving like 35,000 XP a kill, and you absolutely melt them. Blizzard did actually do this back in Mr. Pandaria. I've looked high and low on Wowpedia, read through patch notes, and unless I've missed it, I can't actually see anywhere where it's documented, but when you start looking on places like MMO Champion from old posts, but people are saying that used to solo Blood Death Knights and stuff like that, at level 84 they were getting 35k XP, which is around about what we're getting at level 85 all the way up to 90, because 89 to 90 they actually jump up to about 50k. But when they was hitting level 85 back in original Mr. Pandaria, they was only given about 3k, so they was getting a huge XP nerf to the Cataclysm dungeons. So I would just expect that. So if you're already planning with your guild at who's going to go in and as a duo because one of them's a healer or something like that, who's going to go in solo, who's going to go in as even 3 people possibly, I wouldn't waste your time, because honestly, even if for some reason this did slip through the cracks and it stays this way on the beta for the next couple of months, I truly believe there's no way this is hitting live. Now, in all fairness, I did say the same thing about Halls of Lightning and Halls of Stone back at the start of Cataclysm, or on the Cataclysm beta, and that didn't actually get nerfed, I believe, even to this day. But that was a bit different, because it still took a long time. We're not talking 30-minute levels like it actually currently is from getting from 85 to 90. Now, I will just put a caveat out there. that me personally, I don't mind it. I hate leveling anyway. I'd happily sit in Grim Batol, even if it took 4 or 5 hours. You know, even if they half the XP that you get to the point where it took, yeah, let's say 8 or 9 hours tops to be able to get to level 90, I would still do that. Because without being able to fly and you're being on foot going around doing quests, I much prefer just to sit in dungeons. Now, what you got to remember here is one thing that could happen and probably will happen is what I've said already, that they will just massively nerf the XP to the old Cataclysm dungeons, so they only give like a few thousand XP a mob. Now, what this will actually do is mean that instead of the likes of Brewmasters, DK tanks and stuff like that, questing in the open world, we're just going to be soloing Temple of the Jade Serpent or Storm Stout Brewery. Most likely Storm Stout Brewery because those are giving like 70k XP a kill. They are a bit more dangerous, but we're going to have far more gear. We'll be fully consumable up. We'll have, you know, full gems and enchants compared to what I had when I was soloing Storm Stout Brewery in the last video a couple of days ago. So if that does get nerfed, what it's kind of going to do is just mean everybody who's not an overpowered tank will be out questing or doing random dungeon finder. Those that are overpowered tanks will be able to just go and solo the dungeons anyway. Because if you've seen how powerful Brewmasters are, either at level 90 or even from level 26 onwards, to be fair, as a Brewmaster, you don't really need a group. You're doing really, really good damage. You're doing really, really good healing. And unless you're me, you'll struggle dying. So for me personally, even when, and I'm not even saying if now, even when Grim Batol and all the Cataclysm dungeons get nerfed, I'm still going to be farming dungeons, but I'll probably just be in Storm Stout Brewery instead. Now, another thing worth mentioning if you didn't see the last video is the XP values are also in the pre-squish values. So what that basically means is post 5.3, but pre-Warlords of Draenor. So there's big XP nerfs in the Cataclysm area, so 80 to 85 is a lot quicker, and even 85 to 90 also had a massive nerf per level. So that is also something else that we could see change. They might go back to the original XP values, which I personally really hope they don't, because there was a reason that it got nerfed halfway through the expansion. It's very painful, especially for ults, and as I say, ults that can't fly, because there's no tome of under and flying or anything like that. You're literally on foot. Well, on your horse's feet, let's say. So that's something else that we could see change when leveling. And if you think getting 35k XP per mob sounds wild in Grim Batol, well, actually just being out in the open world, it's between 10 and 15k a kill. So what most people will do is find a heavily dense mob area in the world where they're hoping no one else goes and grind as long as there's quick respawns, because killing 3 normal mobs to get the same as 1 mob in Grim Batol is obviously going to be quick. And if history has taught us anything when it comes to getting world first in Cataclysm, it rarely happens in dungeons. It's normally happening in a hyper spawn area in the world, and there is lots of those in MoP. And I've been wandering around finding them, so maybe if I find some good ones, I'll share it with you. Or maybe I won't, just in case Blizzard fix it. We'll see. So that's it. All I want to say, Grim Batol, don't get too excited, because it's probably going to get nerfed exactly the same way as it got nerfed back in the day. I will be getting back to the top 10 class changes and actually profession sort of deep dive videos throughout the course of the week. I just wanted to get a quick video out just talking about this, because I'm literally getting asked constantly whether I think it's going to get nerfed, whether they're right, you know, as in, are the XP values right? Well, if we go by historically, no, they're not. So if you enjoyed the video, as always, be sure to like and subscribe. Check out Rested XP. If you haven't got a Rested XP guide already, then you can pick up the Cataclysm one, obviously, if you want to get characters leveled up before MoP launches. And very, very soon, the quest stacking, so the pre-quest stacking guide will be available, as will MoP pre-order guides as well. But keep you updated with that, and I'll see you on the next one.